Yes, I am sure, John. Mr. John Cena, who was definitely talking to me there. I enjoy the title of this stream. Well, thank you, Michelle. Maybe.
Scottish Labour MPs are
If you're
cringe
not
as
already
fuck at times.
subscribed,
You're
maybe you
correct,
should.
Fuzmas. They are cringe. They're cringe all the time.
But you may already be. I can't really.
Of course, they are cringe. Here we go. Your lass is here. Hello, hello. I'll just move you over here for a second. Oh, no. Didn't mean to do that. Oh, no. Here we go. Oh, someone's here. Oh, someone just left. Hello. Doing one of my main remits tonight. There seems to be a lot more stuff coming out about benefits, obviously because it's in the run up to the budget, which is in a week. We'll see what Rachel will do, and I'll be here to discuss it with all of you lovely people. It will be fun. You'll get to see me lose my shit if she does anything fucking evil, which she probably will. And you have to remember, Pat McFadden's in Caxton House now. Just fucking end me. Well, no, I'm not giving him the slightest bit of due at all. Living despite their draconianness is better punishment for these bastards, really. I'm going to prove them all wrong about what they're doing, with any fucking luck. Short of that, I'm going to be trying to get them unseated. Wolverhampton, why did you inflict this creature on us? Fucking bastard that he is. I think Kev's raided somewhere else. No problem. Entirely up to him to choose where to raid into. Stupid eye. Yeah, I've got the door closed. What is wrong with my fucking eye? That's not one too clever, is it? My eye's a mess. quite a lot about Piece of Mess. Anyone, please? I really want people to hear this one, these benefit ones. I'll wait until someone appears. Yeah. Oh god. I will leave that sitting here. If anyone arrives while I'm away, sorry, I will be back. Give me 2 minutes. I return. Get my legs up. That's better. Hello. Oh, someone's arrived. Hello, lurker. Rejoice, your lass is here. What's he done to my setup? Super happy had to fix my setup, and he's moved my mic a little bit further away from me and lifted the condenser on it. There, got it fixed. Much better. Oh, I've lost a follower. That's a shame. Did she set it up? I can't remember if she set it up for my one. I will try. Okay. Ah! She did do it. Anyone that is there, feel free to use that command. I do so love it. Thank you, CG, for coming up for that phrase. I love it so much. Especially since last night. I just hope we get... Is there any such thing as an easy country in the World Cup? Yeah. We will find out. Don't you worry. Your lass will talk about it. And I'll discuss what the countries are actually like, football-wise. And politically wise, if you like. Mind you, in saying that, I don't know the politics of every country. There is quite a lot of them. Oh. Darling, I really do love that. That is amazing. Thank you for setting up that command. I fucking love it. I have no idea if this one works either. I'm doubtful. Let's try it. Dargesh? It fucking works! There's a graphic connected to that one, by the way, on Shanna's channel, Capricorn. If you're curious to see it, it is fucking awesome. But I didn't know I had that command either. If Dargesh is ever here. Dargash is good, people. We love Dargash. Are you there, comrade? Feel free to drop by. What's up, beautiful people? A lot is up. A lot is wrong. That's why people like us exist. Anyone? I don't know if this works. Werewolf. Werewolf. Yeah. Raptor's got this thing in place where he says werewolf Shanna comes running. Oh, Shanna's a furry, by the way. I love furries. They are delightfully insane, some of them. I used to be a dominatrix. Maybe still, mind you, with this politics coverage that I do, I might be a bit of a masochist. But I want what's best for my country, and I'm here advocating for it, obviously. Will I be heard? Doubtful. I will still speak out, though, and try to educate everyone. Hence the platform. Haha! Where did I put it? Oh, it's in there. Let's see. I really want people to hear this one. I can maybe just read. Ha! There we go. There we go. That's better. Fuck it, leave it till the half-hour mark. Delightful. Basically, it's the majority of the Western nations. Always fun. We should be tackling the rise of the far right and any fucking Nazis that show their face. Nazis are bad people, remember? We need to deal with them. Tell them to shut the fuck up and piss off. Again, no violence, please. But should you come up against them, that is all I will say. TOS precludes me from going anymore. You're my own son. Anyone? I wonder who's lurking. Hello, beautiful lurker, whoever you may be. The West, including UK, votes against UN motion banning glorification of Nazism. Delightful as always. The UK has joined the US and other Western nations in voting against a United Nations resolution pledging to fight the rise of Nazi ideology and other forms of racism. The motion, titled Combating Glorification of Nazism, Neo-Nazism and Other Practices that Contribute to Fueling Contemporary Forms of Racism, Racial Discrimination, Xenophobia and Related Intolerance, was opposed by almost the whole West and supported by Russia as well as almost every Asian, African and South American nation. As journalist Alan MacLeod, good people, we love Alan, he is amazing. And Scottish, obviously. So praise be Alan MacLeod. Yesterday, the United Nations voted on a resolution combating glorification of Nazism, neo-Nazism, and other practices that contribute to fueling contemporary forms of racism, racial discrimination, xenophobia and related intolerance. Virtually the entire West voted against it. Dara, are you noticing a theme here? So now we're the outlier, not Russia. Delightful. UN vote on Nazism throws open Ukraine issue, as you do. The vote was also a tacit admission that Ukraine is infested by Nazis. Don't get me wrong, there are Nazis in Ukraine. But something that was freely discussed by Western media and politicians before Russia invaded part of it, but quickly airbrushed out after it became inconvenient to admit. With the BBC's Ross Atkins, who you can see here, making a farcical report in March 2022, shortly after the invasion, dismissing Ukrainian Nazism that still remains online 3.5 years later. Delightful. I've went through 3 whole birthdays during this. Let's see what Ross Atkins said.
Vladimir Putin has given several reasons for his invasion of Ukraine. This is one of them.
We will be aiming at demilitarization and denazification of Ukraine.
At a recent Putin rally, a banner declared for a world without Nazism. And Putin has described a gang of drug addicts and neo-Nazis who settled in Kiev and took the entire Ukrainian people hostage. But Russia's claims about Nazis in Ukraine are a mix of falsehoods and distortions. For a start, Ukrainians are not being held hostage by Nazis. Their president's Volodymyr Zelensky.
Sorry about that. I do apologise. Rejoice, comrades. Reza Lindsay is here. Hi, Reza. Yeah, I promised I wouldn't do that again. I do apologise. I hope... I won't be doing that tonight, don't worry. I actually had quite a good nap this afternoon. Plus my eye is keeping me awake. It's infected. Hi. How you doing?
He's Jewish. He has relatives who died in the Holocaust. And he's president because he won 73% of the vote in 2019. The main far-right candidate reached 1.6%. And that result is part of a broader shift. In the 2012 parliamentary election, the main far-right party won 10%. In 2014, it was 6%. In 2019, it was 2%. No far-right groups have any formal political power in Ukraine. And based on polling and results, the far-right's much less popular in Ukraine than, for example, the leader of the far-right in France, Marine Le Pen. Far-right groups, though, do exist in Ukraine, and Russia's focus on them.
But Ross, she's just a centrist. She's a centrist. I don't understand why people in Europe, here in the UK and other parts of Europe and stuff, say that she's just a centrist. No, she's fucking not. Look at who her fucking dad was. Jean-Marie Le Pen, by the way. He is no longer among us. The bastard is dead. Like, fuck for that one. The man was as far right as he fucking came. At least in well, probably in fucking Europe, actually. Her dad was just scum of the highest order. And she seems to have taken on quite a lot of his. She did used to advocate for some of his stances as well. Delightful. Parts of the French populace don't like her for good reason, obviously. I don't like her either. Her politics are dog shit.
Is not new.
The word denazify, the idea that Ukraine has been overrun by the Nazis, is something that Russian propaganda has been talking about for 8 years, since the first invasion of Ukraine in 2014.
Ukraine wasn't.
Yeah. I might need to do some research into him. Well, she's a crook now, isn't she? Funny that someone being on the right being a crook and fiddling figures and shit like that. Basically stealing. See you later, Marine. If you want to post anything on Discord about him, I'd appreciate that. No pressure, of course. I can do it myself. Is he younger than her? She's in her 50s or something, isn't she? Give me a minute. How old is she? And how old is Jordan Bordello? Okay. Marine. Marine Le Pen. She's 57. She's only 2 years older than Super Hubby. Marion Anne Marine. Alright, so it's a shortened. Le Pen is. Christ, she's a fucking lawyer. He's only 30? Oh, Christ. Is he? Bye, Marine. No ill will to men. I try to do no ill will towards people, mostly. But her dad was a fucking cunt. Oh, dear God. Never a good thing. Always The Apprentice. There's master behind them. Obviously, puppet master. Morgan McSweeney.
And isn't being overrun by Nazis. But what happened 8 years ago is relevant here. That's because in late 2013, under pressure from Putin, Ukraine's then president, Viktor Yanukovych, backed out of a cooperation deal with the EU. Huge protests followed, as would a crackdown. In time, Yanukovych would flee to Russia. This was a challenge to Putin's ability to influence Ukraine. And he retaliated. First, Russia annexed Crimea. Then it backed separatists in parts of eastern Ukraine. And this is where the story connects back to the far right. Because in 2014, the Ukrainian military was much smaller than it is now. It was struggling, and brigades of volunteers joined the fight against the separatists. Some of them had far-right elements. The most high-profile was this one, the Azov Battalion. It was set up by this man, Andrei Beletsky, who has a history of racist and anti-Semitic views. And in 2014, the BBC's Steve Rosenberg spoke to him.
Да, про там, Азов, что ультранационалистическое, даже вот неонацистское, да, вот какая идеология у Азова?
Да, мы националисты, мы этого не скрывали никогда.
Play. Come on. The hell? Okay. Yeah. My signal's excellent. What the hell? What, are they taking this bit down or something? I'll carry on reading. The following day, the BBC ran a report showing its correspondent, Jeremy Bowen, reporting from Ukraine, surrounded by troops wearing Nazi insignia. Delightful. I remember that, by the way. It was quickly deleted from the broadcaster's iPlayer, but can still be viewed here. So you can, if you go into the Canary and read this article, you can click that link if you wish. I've already done it offline, off stream. Oh look, Peter Hitchens. Goodness me, at real Alex Ruby. I bet the State Department wish he hadn't said that. Everyone, especially BBC Ros Atkins, who you just saw speaking there, should listen to this engagingly honest outburst, especially the mocking bits and falsetto makes Putin look like Bertrand Russell. British philosopher, really. What? Alex Rubinstein. Oh. What's Yevhen Karas, the leader of Ukraine's neo-Nazi terror group C14, speech from Kyiv earlier this month, straight from the horse's mouth. He dispels the many narratives pushed by the left, the mainstream media and the State Department. Yeah, the oligarchs are basically protecting him to protect their bottom line, protect their own wealth and privilege and shit like that. We already know this. Our government definitely know this. Trust me on that. The amount of Russian oligarchs that own properties here in the UK, not just in London, but in other areas. Fun. We could be dealing with this. We could be dealing with Putin in different ways, but we're not. Funny that, isn't it? By the way, that's where we get our foreign policy from, the State Department, which is in Washington, DC. We should have our own foreign policy. We really should. Oh no, the hell site is not going to let me watch it. Oh, fine, fuck it. Nope, nope, fuck off, fuck off. Not doing it. I am not going on to, I'm not rejoining the hell site for love nor money. As journalist, Alan MacLeod, good person, brilliant journalist, and Scottish. Need I say more? Don't get me wrong, we're not a fucking monolith. There is some garbage Scottish people, case in point, David Bowie. Not David Bowie, Andrew Bowie. Alex Jack, for one. At least he lost his fucking seat. Haha. Get wrecked, you Tory bastard. Western countries feel that the resolution undermines their support for Ukraine. No, it doesn't. And that the bill is thinly veiled Russian attempt to smear their ally. The resolution has been voted on every year since 2012, where it overwhelmingly passed 129 for to 3 against, with only US, Canada and Palau. Interesting. Why Palau? Weird that they voted against it. I have no idea why. The US remains the only country to vote no to the resolution every time since 2012. Yeah. The West's overwhelming rejection of anti-fascism as an ideology coupled with the rise in far-right sentiment hits a very dark future. Well said, Alan. Well said. I have people. Oh, you said something. Yeah, I keep saying to my grand, I know something's been like a war or something. Oh no, it is Reza. It is. It is. Truly dystopian, really. This one's important. I was waiting for people. Oi, bring it up. Thank you. My signal's excellent. What is going on here? Oh no, I'm with you. I try not to go too doomer. Don't get me wrong. I am here to just bring up the fucking... Oi, bring it up. You going to play that? Right. Try again. I found my hair clip. So I've got my hair back up. Thank God for that. No, I'm getting denied. Please? Beg of you, just give me the goddamn story. I'm getting denied. Yeah, it's frustration with me as well, Reza. I like I say, I try not to be doomer. Don't get me wrong, things instill that in all of us because us on the left, we can see what it's like, what it's actually like on the ground, what it's like for people and shit like that. Yeah, it's been a bastard. I don't know what the fuck's going on. My signal's excellent for my Wi-Fi, so I don't know why it's not giving me the story. Fuck it, let's just go into YouTube. We'll just go to the news section. Oh, fucking don't you... There we go. Ah! YouTube. Thank fuck. News. Oh, yeah. Who have we got there? I have no idea who these people are. Oh, Owen and Zach. That one might be interesting. If you see anything, just shout. No, fuck, no, I can't be arsed with Piers tonight. Fuck off, I'm not doing them. You can go away. Fuck it.
Next to
Yeah.
him, Charlotte Pickles, director
Francesca.
of the public services focused think tank Restate, or I should say the think tank formerly known as Reform.
Oh, I thought I might get through at least.
No, I'm too predictable for that, Charlotte, I'm afraid. To my right, Lucy Fraser, KC, former Conservative Cabinet Minister, and next to her, Jim Murphy, former Labour Cabinet Minister. We like to have a bit of balance on the programme. And
Holy fuck, Jim Murphy. He's Scottish, by the way. You'll hear it when he speaks. East Renfrewshire, by the way. We don't need to do them if you don't want to. We can go into O and speak into Zach if you like. I've actually got into showing cross question because sometimes they have decent people on and most of the time they have the dog shit people. And being able to counter what they say is always a good thing, in my opinion at least. Remember, Reza, no violence, I beg of you. But yeah, the swift kick to the teeth in Minecraft, obviously. You have to remember the man's a fucking Tory.
former leader of the Scottish Labour Party. Although someone informs me on a text earlier, there's no such thing as the Scottish Labour Party. It's the Labour Party. That debate could last for the whole hour, basically, couldn't it? 0345 6060 973 is the number to.
There is the tacit understanding that Scottish Labour, while they're operating in Holyrood, are separate from Westminster. It is promoted that these people exist. They work in the Scottish sphere, but no, most of them were fucking puppets. Anna Sawar, case in point. He is literally a puppet, getting controlled by another puppet. Endlessly delightful to me. Annas, I hope you lose your fucking list position. I really fucking do. I despise you. The Scottish Labour, yeah, the ones in Westminster, the ones in Holyrood, yeah, they do. I want to see them all fucking lose. They all fucking deserve it. The one who will be getting targeted the most is Jackie Baillie. I believe she is. She's second in command. She actually has a constituency. So lots of going to be doing groundwork for some of the Labour who actually have constituencies because of the way that the list system works. There's probably going to be Reform, Labour, maybe even Scum. I do believe that all the Tories will lose their whatever constituencies they have. They'll just get fucking obliterated. But they'll probably still get some list positions, I believe. We'll find out in May. We were promised that. The Smith Commission does exist. There were people, Labour as well, Labour MSPs, feeling betrayed by Westminster. We told yous. So there was a good few Scottish Labour MSPs. And they told obviously the main opponent, the main ones who were talking about how we never got the full Smith Commission. I was one of them, and I'm not an elected representative back in the day, back in 2014. From 420 after the vote onwards for about 4 or 5. It's dropped off my radar. Other shit has been happening. The coalition happened after all. But yeah, it's still on the back burner. It's still in the back of my mind, really. The Smith Commission. We never got the full fucking powers they promised us. So fuck Westminster. They're all bastards. Yeah. It's been ages since I've seen Jim Murphy.
Call if you'd like to put a question to our panel, and we'd love you to watch us on Global Player, the LBC app, or the LBC YouTube channel.
Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850. Cross question with Ian Dale. This is LBC.
Right, our first question comes from Scott in West Hampstead, who says Britain's military defences have been hollowed out for decades, so much so that a Defence Select Committee report says that Britain is unprepared for an attack by a hostile state. How on earth?
It is majority owned by the Scottish Executive, by the way, Reza. It used to be owned by Abellio, the Dutch National Railway Company. Literally owned by the Dutch government. Or the Netherlands government, not Dutch. The Netherlands government, essentially. They're still part of the mix for our rail travel, but it's majority owned by the Scottish government. It's got a lot better. I get 75 to 85% of rail travel. I get free bus across Scotland. Where is it? National entitlement card, because it's not just a bus pass. You get discount rates for all forms of travel here in Scotland with it. So I get between 75 and 85% off rail travel. It's brilliant. There is areas that are only covered by bus, and there is areas that are only covered by rail. Most of the places that I go to, you can use both, essentially, but I get free bus travel, so I can go from Glasgow, Edinburgh, up to my home city of Perth, up to Dundee, Aberdeen, blah, 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 by bus, Inverness, Fort William, if you wish. But there's ones in the south near the border, where it's only covered by rail, and even at that, it's minimal. Yeah, it does make sense. It's brilliant. The National Entitlement Card's really fucking good. Although the major bus the only one that's actually quite decent, and it's run by... He's a dickhead. Don't get me wrong, it's Brian Suter. He owns Stagecoach and other travel companies across Europe and America and Canada. But he started in Fife. His father started in Fife. He's Scottish, him and his sister Anne Globe. She's out of it now, but her daughter, Pamela, is still involved in the family business, if you wish. He's the one that actually treats the Scottish government, so every time that I use my bus pass, it is mostly on First Glasgow buses. They try to scalp the Scottish government for as much as they can possibly get. Every time it gets up, so their bus pass, I don't pay, Scottish government pay. And First Glasgow are literally taking the piss. So every time that I use that, the Scottish government get charged £1.53, blah blah blah. So £1.53 essentially, which is less than what an actual single is. But it's went up. It used to be below that. It used to be about £1.30 or something when I first got. Yeah, fuck it, the First are bastards. First can get wrecked. I don't know who the main people who own the First group, because obviously there's First in other major cities in the UK as well, but First Glasgow are a particular breed of scum. They keep on cutting fucking bus routes. The north of Glasgow, the area that I live in, is so underserved. The virtually non-existent car ownership here in the north of Glasgow. We rely on public transport, and it is mostly run by First Glasgow, and they're bastards. They keep on changing the routes and raising the actual fare price, the service levels, essentially how many stops, where it goes to, and shit like that. I hate them, and the Scottish government should be more forceful, saying stop doing this or you're not going to get the franchise. Although that's partly council, so Abbey Glasgow City Council, and partly Scottish Executive.
Earth did we get here, and who needs to do what to ensure that British...
We'll go back to the
Cross Question with Ian Dale. This is LBC.
Right, our first question comes from Scott in West Hampstead, who says Britain's military defences have been hollowed out for decades, so much so that a Defence Select Committee report says that Britain is unprepared for an attack by a hostile state. How on earth did we get here? And who needs to do what to ensure that the British government fulfils its first and most important duty to protect its citizens from harm? Jim Murphy.
It is the first responsibility of any government to keep its citizens safe.
safe at home, safe internationally. Charlie had heard me talk about this morning. One of the things I like to say, because I think it's absolutely true, is one of the most important things a British Prime Minister can do to keep the United Kingdom safe is to keep Donald Trump committed to NATO. And for those of you who don't follow the detail of this, NATO is a military coalition of democratic countries, I think,
Sorry, sorry, Jim. Kick him out. Fuck him. I don't like the fact that he's in NATO. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of socialised public transport here in Scotland mostly. Like the buses in Edinburgh, as I can't give a duck, can attest to because they live in Edinburgh. Most of the bus routes and most of the bus services are owned by the council over in Edinburgh. Round of applause. Well done, Edinburgh. Fucking based. And they dealt with Airbnb as well. Well done, Edinburgh Council. Fucking love you for that one. Glasgow should be doing the same essentially. We should nationalise the buses or bring back into public the bus services here in Glasgow. My councillor, praise be him, he's amazing. He's been advocating that ever since he got into the fucking city chambers. Yeah, I've been hearing some people talk about it, Reza. Online mostly. Rejoice, comrades. Mr. E is here, wishing you a very good evening, Katie in chat. Hello, Mr. E. I don't blame you, Reza, I really don't. Public transport should be in public hands. It's called public transport, but essentially it isn't. We're enriching the companies that own these fucking bus routes, these services. It is daft. Ordinary people of Britain getting scalped for shareholders and private concerns. Not the fuck off. No, just bring it back into public hands, please. Just like our water. I disagree with you, Jim. Sorry. You shouldn't be in NATO. The man is a fucking menace. We should be talking to our European allies to see what we can do to maybe counter the shit that he's doing. Really. But what do I know? I'm just some loony leftist on the interwebs.
Of us. And the idea is an attack on one is an attack on all. And if Trump reneges on that commitment to defend Europe, he's spoken about it, but that's a tactical retreat he's had. If there's a strategic retreat from Article 5 of NATO, then all bets are off. Bets are off in terms of our security. And incidentally, all bets are off in affordability of the NHS and much else, because we'll then have to invest a huge amount more in our own defence. So I think the most important thing they can do is keep the United States committed to the global alliance. Other than that, we've got to invest in significant hard power, increased investment, but also smart power and soft power around the foreign Commonwealth office.
But do you think that a lot of the British public just aren't willing to engage in this debate and aren't willing to see more spending on defence in place of spending in other areas?
Yeah, well, very few British citizens are in the armed forces, or armed forces for all sorts of reasons are the smallest, probably the smallest they've ever been, or near the smallest they have ever been. So very few people have themselves or have.
As of April 2025, the total size of the UK Armed Forces is approximately 181,890, which includes full-time regulars, Gurkhas and reserves. Yeah. Full-time trained and untrained personnel around 147,000. With British Army having its largest share at about 109, okay, followed by the Navy and the Royal Marines and the Commandos is just under 30,000, and the RAF just under 35,000. The total number of personnel has decreased by 21% since 2012. Who was in charge then? I have met Gurkhas. I have drank with them. They are delightful people. They want the best for the Gurkhas, and not all Nepalese people, by the way. Some of them are mental people. They're really insanely good soldiers, especially during the Second World War. And the way the British state has treated them is totally dogshit. I thought the reserves were just under 40,000. I was wrong. Huh. So that's the TA, essentially, the Territorial Army, or the reserve. It's called the reserve now. Yes, she does. Joanna Lumley advocates for them. Since 1952, when the armed forces reached a post-war peak, the numbers have fallen considerably under Tory leadership. Delightful. I despise the Tory party for this. Proud, beautiful people, yeah. Gurkhas are amazing. I love them. And their kukri, mental ass knife. Oh, I will show you that. I will show you their knife, kukri. Images. There's the kukri. My super hubby wants a kukri. We can't afford it. Most of them were over £100. Don't get me wrong, I'd probably want to get one for him for his collection. Don't worry, I won't let him take it out of the house. I do admire the kukri. It is a rather amazing knife. The Gurkhas used it a lot, especially in the jungles of Burma, now Myanmar. But there it's there. The actual kukri. Oh, there's 3 different spellings, by the way. I've used the British spelling, the English spelling of it, the Angloid spelling that America uses as well, Canadians thing. But there is 3 different spellings for this knife. But it's essentially the same knife that gets, whenever they mention it, is this knife that gets mentioned. Oh, there we go. This one here.
Relatives in the armed forces. So it's not as front and centre when it comes to an election campaign in the way that it should be. But I think what this government's trying to do, and I think hopefully in through this evening you'll discover I'm not here to be I was a Labour cabinet minister, but I'm not here to argue their case. That's their job. But one of the things I think they're getting right is they are trying to ensure that defence investment is one lever to reindustrialise our country, so that in some of the communities which are a bit down in the dumps, who have economically really difficult times, they're now going to see munitions factories built. And hopefully the munitions factories for things we never use. Unfortunately, we now have to pass a lot of it to Ukraine. But I think if we use defence as a way to help reindustrialise parts of our country, that's a smart way to reconnect communities with the argument.
Lucy Fraser.
I'm also not here to be partisans, and I agreed with everything actually that Jim said. I would say it's not just though about the US and our alliance with the US. I think our alliance with Europe is also important, and I think also that the government has said it's going to increase spending on defence, and it's absolutely right that it should do so. And other countries, particularly Germany, have.
Hopefully they won't go into these AI boondoggle things as well. It looks like they might be. I know soldiers. I know ex-soldiers. I only know one current soldier, and I will not I've mentioned him. That's it. But my sister's partner is former soldier. He was Remy first, so that's the Royal Engineer Mechanical Corps essentially. He fixed tanks. He was awesome. Then he got put into the cavalry, basically got put in a tank as their engineer and main driver of said tank. Him and Super Hubby agree that they need to be doing more spending, actually getting the numbers back up. So hiving them off and giving them to private contractors to do the recruitment side of it, daft, stupid, fuck off, nah. They are, and Nepalese food is fucking delicious. I've had a good few Nepalese dishes. Very goat and lamb based dishes with more earthy flavoured herbs essentially. They take parsley and make it stronger essentially. The parsley we get here in the West, especially here in the UK, light and fragrant, but a lot of they're more greener herbs that you can get, like robust and strong flavours, plus with a little bit of spice thrown in as well, mostly from smoked spices and stuff. Truly delicious. I love smoky flavours, and I like a bit of a kick. My stomach disagrees with me, but it can shut the fuck up. I've eaten some of the strongest curries known to man, and my stomach quivers in fear that I'm going to do it again to take Fowler Vindaloo, for instance. I'm being nice to my stomach and my lower intestines now. I try not to do it too much to it.
Have significantly increased their defence budget. But I think we have also a role to play in ensuring that other countries in Europe also increase their defence budgets. And as Jim said, it's not just about spending money, it's about spending money smartly. And on the right things. And I am nervous about the procurement system that we have in this country, which doesn't always operate well at the best of times, but in relation to defence is so important, because it is really important that we build up our domestic ability to supply the UK so that we have some sovereign capability in some key areas.
But why have successive governments, Labour and Conservative, not seemed to get the need to spend enough money on defence?
Because we're relying too much on America. We're relying too much of what comes out of the State Office and the fucking White House. Just saying. We shouldn't be. We should have our own fucking defence and foreign policy. We currently don't, because the Atlanticism, really. I don't like it. Especially with that in the White House. And the rise of the far right in Europe is kind of unsettling, so we really should be... Sorry if this upsets anyone. We really should be building up our own forces again. Mind you, in saying that, we are a nuclear-armed island nation. We're not connected to anyone. Essentially, we're connected to Europe through, like, we've got Northern Ireland and the Republic exists. But other than that, we're an island nation. You can't say we stand alone mostly, but the connotations of that are icky and horrible. And no one's going to try and invade us. People have tried to invade us before. It has worked in the past, but many fucking centuries ago, but not now. Why? Fucking Austrian individual tried to invade. Didn't fucking work. They thought they could deal with our RAF, like Battle of Britain, deal with that, then invade, literally send troops onto the shores of the southern coast. Ha! Failed. Get wrecked. Some fucking dead Austrian. We can't... we've still got essentially it used to be called the Home Fleet, and it was one of the strongest in the Western nations, especially during the between the first and second, and got built up for the Second World War because fucking fascism. Fun. Yeah. I'm here to combat that. Colonialism still fucking exists. Delightful, as always. Can't we fucking change this? Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be leading the fucking charge. I'm disabled. Mind you, I do know my way around a sword. Oh, your lass knows kendo and fencing, by the way. Would I be good with a saber or a katana? Well, I'm proving better with a katana, by the way. I could probably be quite effective with a saber. Good possibility of that. Fencing's polite, by the way. No, it isn't. I've fucking done it.
I do think that the Conservative government spent on defence, and it did a strategic review. I think this government, to its credit, also did one, and it's announced additional spending on defence. I think one of the problems is that you need long-term spending, not short-term spending, and it shouldn't really be spent in terms of budget cycles. You need to set out a long-term vision and plan for how money should be spent on what is, as Jim said.
No violence. Oh my god. We know, all of us know how to deal with the fash, obviously, but I will say again, I am not advocating for violence here. I'm not. Education, obviously you can't reach some people. You should ignore them unless things. I'm lucky there's not many don't get me wrong, there's fascists everywhere, but there's not many fascists here in Glasgow. We usually kick their teeth in. We're more left-wing here in Glasgow. Kind of. There's more left-wingers here in Glasgow than there is right-oid fucking bastards. Toe massage! Yes. I like that one. I'm nicking that, Mr. E. I'm stealing that from you. Or a swift kick to the knackers, if you wish. Which is slang for I don't have these. I have indoor plumbing, because that makes sense. Having things that sensitive and very vital to actually doing bodily functions is stupid, so having outside genitalia is a bit of a design flaw in my opinion, really. Don't get me wrong, getting kicked in the cunt fucking hurts. I know, unfortunately. I do not advocate for kicking women in the cunt. I advocate for kicking cunts if they appear. Mostly fascists, obviously. Again, no violence, please, I beg of you.
And is well recognised is the most important duty of any government.
Liam O'Dell.
I will align myself with everything that's been said already. I think increased cooperation is important. And I think also something you said, Ian, in one of your questions, which was interesting around kind of public engagement with the idea of defence. And that's something I want to touch upon, is the fact that the statement from the Defence Secretary this morning was completely inaccessible to British Sign Language signers.
John Healey, by the way. He is the Defence Secretary. I will bring him up so you can see the man's face. So you know who I'm talking about. John Healey. There he's there. John Healey. Hello. That is who the Defence Secretary is.
And to go back to the question that has been put by Scott around, the most important duty to protect its citizens from harm, I would go one further and say, yes, protect its citizens from harm, but they need to be made to feel safe. And if we're not communicating effectively with a significant proportion of the public, there's 150,000 people who use British Sign Language, and you're not communicating with them, that's pathetic. I mean, for example, the Prime Minister said in another speech on defence many months back now, said every Brit has a role to play in defence. Well, you're saying that in a speech that didn't come with any British Sign Language interpretation.
And he was actually in Downing Street in their press room. So
I think that one was on tour somewhere. But in any case, there needs to be an interpreter in the room, for starters, because then that makes all broadcasts accessible by default. But I've contacted the Ministry of Defence this evening, and they've come back and basically said they can't live stream it on their social media channels because it's political content. And okay, I get that issue, but then they put the transcript.
That's an excuse, by the way. They are literally working at our behest. We put them into this position. We voted them into Parliament. They should be telling us all of this shit. And if we don't like what we're doing, we don't need to vote for them, and they can lose their position, including cabinet ministers who have lost their seats during general elections in the past. It is quite delightful, really. Case in point, it happened to the Tories last year. Actual cabinet members lost their positions. Ha 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 ha! Get right, you Tory bastards. Total wipeout, if you please. Your party is politically and electorally dead, in my opinion, so fucking get wrecked. Rejoice, comrades. The main mod. Shanna Cranky Pants is lurking in the void. Watch out for the tardigrades, my darling. Hi. You concentrate on your own channel. Just come and say hi every so often if you can. Obviously. Praise be the mod. Thanks, darling.
It's up online with the necessary redactions. That's not interpreted into BSL either. And English is a completely separate language to British Sign Language. And so if you're not having access to information...
The English language itself is garbage. British Sign Language is actually quite decent. I did used to speak it. One of my best friends was deaf. So I learned so I could actually speak to them properly. So they wouldn't need to rely on this utterly garbage language that we use. Don't get me wrong, English is eloquent and we can say many beautiful things with this language, but the roots of this language are... I will keep on saying it till my dying day. English is utter garbage. I still use it though. So you can all hear me. And I can advocate my positions.
And you feel isolated, you feel lost, you feel confused, you feel scared. And I'm just thinking there must be people out there who are wanting this reassurance that the Defence Secretary is intending to provide today, and they can't access it because it's, again, another oversight, and it keeps happening. They've announced BSL plans, it's not happening.
Charlotte Pickles.
So why have successive governments failed to make sure that we're prepared? Well, for the same reason that they failed to make sure we were prepared for a pandemic.
Rejoice, comrades, Parcourse language. Hi, Parcourse. It is going well. Educating the masses, as always. This is Cross Question, by the way, from LBC. Leading Britain's conversation. The host is Ian Dale. He is garbage, basically. And he brings on people to Cross Question. There is actually plans to do that. And rejoice, comrades. Mr. the Brazen. Hi, John. How goes it? There is a thriving Gaelic community here in Glasgow, by the way. We've still got the Gaelic school. It might be a little bit more decentralised now, but there are still children that get taught how to speak in Gaelic. I done Gaelic at secondary school instead of French or German, which is the usual course for what happened. It's one of the things that got changed after the Second World War to be more European, to speak with our European colleagues and comrades and things, blah, 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 blah. So it got we could choose to speak either English, French or German. Well, you already knew English, but we could choose to learn a foreign language, which was English or was French or German. But then in the 70s, late 70s, just before I was born, they said maybe we should be teaching more Gaelic or Gaelic. Depends what part of Scotland you're from and how you pronounce it, by the way. And there's many regional different dialects of Gaelic here in Scotland. I did learn it. It is absolutely beautiful.
Because they're not thinking about the things that are going to come up, despite the fact that in the instance of a pandemic, it was number one on a national risk register, and, you know, Russia, China, the various other...
Ours was Parisian, so like Paris and the greater metropolitan area surrounding Paris, essentially. That's what we got taught here in Scotland if we chose to do French at secondary school. Or we got taught it was basically either Saxony-based German or Prussian-based German that we taught. I think it was mostly Prussian, actually. So northeast Germany. Oh, bairns. I like your use of the word bairn, sir, Mr. E. Good man, or good individual. I don't know your pronouns. I don't want to misgender you. But yeah, I Cornish, Welsh, Scots and Scots English and Gaelic. And there's some idiosyncrasies within the northeast of England. They do speak kind of like the Broad Scots, essentially. Oh, I've reached out to my Quebecois friends as well. My cousin did live and work there for a bit as a lawyer. She was always good with French, actually. And she still speaks to some of her Quebecois friends. It's brilliant. But Quebecois is distinctly, it's very unique from the classic either Parisian or regional dialects of French. You have to remember that country's kind of split in their languages. The Romance languages are fucking mental. I kind of like the Brittany autonomy. It's quite good.
Political challenges we have will, I'm sure, have been at the top, if or certainly in the top few items within the more secret kind of national risks. So it's not that we haven't known; it's just because choices have been made to not prioritise it repeatedly, and that's a huge failure on the part of our political class. And you know, it is true that this government is saying some good things and wanting to prioritise defence, but the target of 3% of GDP is by 2034, and that was announced at the beginning of this year. That's almost a decade to get to just 3%, which most people think is not high enough anyway. The munitions factories, great. Of course it will be brilliant to have munitions factories. I think a House of Lords report said that the amount of munitions we've given to Ukraine will take us about a decade to replace at the moment. But actually they want them operational by 2029, which is, again, 4 years from now? And that's probably ambitious. And I'm really glad that Lucy mentioned the procurement challenge, because defence has been absolutely woeful at procuring all of the things that we would need to protect our country. So just to give you a couple of examples, the Ajax armoured vehicle programme was authorised in 2010. Do you think we have it up and running? Have we got that now? No, almost 2 decades later, we still don't have what that was supposed to procure. And guess what? That's going to be out of date by the time we get it now. Or recently stated in the Strategic Defence Review, on average, it takes 6 years or more just to get to the point of awarding a procurement if in defence it's worth 20 million or more. And guess what? Nearly everything in defence is worth 20.
Ooh, they're using our model. I hope they do it better than we did. Just say, but we got sold out by people within. Always fun. Traitors. They do exist. I'm still here advocating for Scottish independence. Obviously, just severing ties with Westminster is going to be a good thing in the long run for us. Or probably in the short term, actually. Westminster is dog shit. Case in point, anything that comes out of the fucking place, really. Other than Stephen Flynn. When they're not doctoring his fucking voice. Why?
Million or more. So we started by just a failure to recognise that one of the fundamentals of protecting the country, whether that's in terms of warfare or on the civil front, is to be prepared in some sense, which we haven't done. And secondly, now we've realised we need to be, we're going at a glacial pace in the face of what are imminent and urgent challenges for this country.
I think.
Go on.
I think that is an.
Westminster is literally falling down. Literally is. Parts of it are literally crumbling away. You have to remember some of the buildings that are part of the Palace of Westminster are centuries old. It is literally crumbling around their fucking heads. Naughty hinting at things there. Shouldn't do that. But yeah, they shouldn't be in there. The building is literally falling to pieces. Make them tour, make them come to different parts of the UK for fuck's sake. Actually being in different places might be a good idea for them. Might actually educate them. If that's possible, is it? Who knows? Everyone's possible to get better education. Better things happening to their minds. Yeah. They're too ensconced, really, at this point. Correct, Mr. E. They are indeed, John. They are indeed. Case in point, Emmanuel Macron. Or Marlene Le Pen, if you wish.
Important point. Tragically, unfortunately, it's now going to get better. And why I say tragically is because we're going to learn from Ukraine. We have a real-life existential experience on Europe's doorstep where it's a matter of life and death and their very existence. They are having to procure and innovate at a remarkable pace. And I can only hope that, unfortunately, because of the tragedy of that war, the UK gets much better at it by learning those lessons. Just the last thing I'd say.
Jim, you are literally in cabinet. You could have said something to Gordon. You could have, honestly. Just saying. He was Chancellor at that point, by the way, not Prime Minister. You could have said something to Gordon. I can't remember who the Defence Secretary was when Gordon Brown was Prime Minister. So 2007 onwards, I can't remember who it was. There's quite a lot of Scottish people in that cabinet, including this individual. Your Labour Party doesn't exist anymore, Jim, by the way. It's totally been gobbled up, it's gone, it's dead, it's fucking, it's a corpse at this point. You can thank Keir Starmer for that one. Him and Morgan McSweeney and fucking the Glaswegian ghoul, if he doesn't represent a Scottish seat. We wouldn't vote for Pat McFadden here. I'm surprised we went back to Labour in my constituency. And even in their wipeout predicted for the next general election, she'll still hold on. What the absolute fuck? Shabana might replace him, fucking hell. Christ, who'd be worse, Wes or Shabana? Probably her, don't get me wrong, they'd both be dog shit as Prime Minister. I didn't see it being Rachel, oddly enough. Didn't see her becoming Prime Minister. I can see Shabana doing it, she's ruthless enough. We've already seen that by the way she talks. Case in point, Laura on Sunday. Fucking hell. It's all the same pattern of deflection and redirection. Get rid of, yeah. That was delightful, wasn't it? The briefings coming out in number 10 was just fucking hilarious. Fucking hell. Helena was right when she called them the nest of vipers. Well said, Helena. Praise be. Everyone, go and follow No Justice MTG. She is based. And Kev as well, obviously. So KF Logan 1875 on Twitch or at Ploppy111 on YouTube.
Say about this, I think, would be that I think it was the Polish Prime Minister who said, in terms of relations with Russia, we're not at war with Russia, but we're not at peace with Russia. And the UK's relationship with Russia is in a similar middle ground.
No, it isn't. If it is, it shouldn't be. Don't get me wrong. The island nation, no one's going to try and invade us. It's rather difficult to get onto this island, essentially. Even if we don't have armed forces, we still exist. The British people still exist. And some of us are mental as fuck, and we will repel borders to literally anyone that invades, I believe. You've just reminded me of one of the buttons from The Last Leg. Thomas the Wank Engine. She is like Scrooge, isn't she? Fuck. I wonder how Yvette's getting on at Fawn. Oddly quiet from her, really. Probably busy. Helping assist a genocide, most likely.
Not in a hot conflict, but not at peace. And I think our country has to realise that, and our public conversation has to reflect that.
Right, we'll come on to an allied question to this in just a few moments' time. Let's take a short break. It's 14 minutes past 8.
Leading Britain's conversation. Cross Question with Ian Day.
Yes, we are at odds, essentially. The tacit support, really, from some people here in Scotland. Don't get me wrong, I speak out about Westminster constantly, obviously, because the reasons, many reasons. I want my country to be independent. I hate the politics that are coming out of Westminster. They are fucking shit. Lots of poor and disabled and disenfranchised. Well, not that we have the vote, essentially. But we are poor, we are downtrodden, we are treated like scum. I want short of all that fucking BS, really. Just no. I want us to build up our own social sphere here in Scotland. Be the protectors that we are to kith and kin. We are more tribal based, really, due to the clan system that we had. That got destroyed by Westminster when, for historical reasons. We did rebel. But we basically got trodden on. And there were traitors who need to be dealt with in history, really. We get treated like shit by Westminster up here, really. We do have a measure of representation in Holyrood, which is good. We appreciate it. I want more. I want the Socialist Republic of Scotland, please. Thanks. Ideally, it should be Marxist. I'd be fine with socialist to begin with, really. You have to remember how old I am. I am 46. I might see it in my lifetime. Who knows? I am advocating for it, obviously. That might be changing, Reza. I am a member of Republic, by the way. Just type in Republic. You can't miss them.
Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
8:15 on LBC. Lucy Fraser, former Conservative Cabinet Minister, is here. Jim Murphy, former Labour Cabinet Minister. Charlotte Pickles from the think tank Restate. And Leah Modell, journalist and disability rights campaigner. Now, a follow-up text question from our last question from Barney in Nottingham. Is there anything we can do to stop Donald Trump betraying Ukraine, as deep down we all knew he would? Now, reports this evening say the White House has been negotiating a peace deal with the Kremlin without involving Zelensky in any talks, and the plan would involve Ukraine having to make its armed forces smaller.
I'll do it again. Whoops. Nope, wrong thing. Where is it? Oh, wrong button. Business gets pinned. No, we're not too wee or too poor or too stupid. That theme has run through our history since we joined with the Parliament and the monarchy. We're not too... I need to bring this one up. I'll show you it. Things Scots invented. Telephone, colour photo, colour photography, penicillin, refrigeration, television, flushing toilets, kaleidoscopes, pneumatic tyres, steam engine, bikes, cloning, MRI machines, the science and the actual physical thing. The Bank of England was set up by a Scot. Fingerprint identification, first practical use of the screw propeller for naval vessels. Grand Theft Auto, Dundee. The hypodermic syringe, John Logie Baird. The steam hammer, the first powered, first powered boat. The legacy of James Clerk Maxwell, who is a founder of the Andersonian, the Anderson Institute, which is now my alma mater, Strathclyde University. Vacuum flasks. Scots invented the modern world. So telephone, television, radar, steam engine, penicillin, inflatable tyre, vacuum flask, tractor beam, fingerprints, flushing toilet, digestive biscuit, the raincoat, Charles Mackintosh, by the way, marmalade, whiskey, iron brew, made in Scotland from girders. Anaesthesia, scurvy prevention, hypnotherapy, Dolly the sheep, Bank of England, the Universal Standard Time, kaleidoscope, the grand piano, the US Navy as well. Wha's like us, damn few in the Rodid. Us Scots invented the modern world. Thank you. Yeah. Say thank you, world. Half the shit that you rely on a daily basis was invented by a Scottish person. Yeah, offshore revenue.
and accept ceding territory to Russia. What a surprise, Charlotte.
I think this comes back to the point that was raised earlier by Jim, which is that we find ourselves very, very dependent on the US when it comes to defence and our national security. Is there anything we can do? I guess the answer would be if Europe did band together fully to push back on it. Presumably Ukraine will have to have some say in what this outcome is, and if they don't accept it, then if Europe...
Stop relying on Russian oil. Do more renewables. I will keep on screaming into the fucking void with this. Do more fucking tidal. Can anyone fucking hear me? Obviously you lovely humans can. Can anyone with meaningful reach into this area? Politicians, essentially. Can any of them hear me? Doubtful. Half the shit we rely on wouldn't be here if a great Scottish mind didn't come up with it, like I just showed you. Don't get me wrong, some Scots have been absolutely garbage, but on the whole, we've made a lot of the person, the individual, better with these things. Mostly in healthcare and science, oddly enough. Great analytical thinkers and philosophers here in Scotland. Great engineers.
Were to stand very firmly behind them, I guess there may be scope to push back on it. We have seen these peace talks previously with Putin, and what we've seen each time is Putin actually not think he's got as much as he wants from a deal, and therefore to renege and to try and play for time and try and demand more. So maybe it is actually not over the line, but ultimately, unless Europe, us included, are willing to put our money where our mouth is and really to rearm and to get to a point where we can be a serious obstacle to countries like Russia, then we are going to remain dependent on a man in the White House who, I think as you indicated there, Ian, was always probably going to find himself in this position.
Liam?
I think there needs to be a greater kind of what Charlotte was saying, greater focus on kind of the European partnership, the coalition of the willing. Are they really all that willing? I feel like kind of what Charlotte has been alluding to. I think they need to be a lot more robust in standing up to Trump. I think at the moment there is a sense, at least to me, that they are trying to please everyone. They are trying to obviously appease Trump because that is obviously a major factor, but equally they are trying to. They're kind of balancing that.
We shouldn't be appeasing that authoritarian fucking bastard. Really shouldn't we? The fact that the special relationship still exists is a daily reminder of me of how dogshit the Westminster government is, really. The British state, essentially. I don't want to be in a partnership with fucking America. I love my American comrades, I really do. They are based, lovely individuals, who also think that Donald Trump is absolutely dogshit and he shouldn't be in power. I can't trust him, the man is a fucking psychopath. He's a narcissistic fucking scumbag. Him being in the White House is truly, truly fucking dystopian, and the GOP needs to fucking die. Right, fine, they released the Epstein files, blah blah blah, and all that fucking bollocks. It's still sitting on his desk, he needs to sign that, by the way. They debated it in the Congress, the House of Representatives, which is literally the people's voice, essentially. Senators aren't that beholden to the states that they represent. Some of them are. Some of them might be regarded as decent, I guess. I don't think any of them are fucking decent. The American political system is fucking garbage. There are good people in America. Their politicians are shit. Sorry, AOC, I had to group you in there, by the way, because you're part of the Democratic Party. They're dog shit.
Issue with the balancing of greater European cohesion, I think they need to be much more robust on that in order to then make the clearest possible message to Trump that this is completely inappropriate and unacceptable.
What do you think Keir Starmer should be saying to Donald Trump about if this turns out to be true?
What should Keir Starmer be saying to Donald Trump? Fuck off, you tangerine bastard. That's what I'd fucking say to him. But I'm not in power. I'm not a politician. I'm not in the cabinet. I would literally tell him where to fucking go. Fuck off, Donald.
I certainly think he needs to be a lot more vocal. I mean, it's. I was just trying to think as you said that whether there was another instance of Starmer needed to be more emphatic against Trump, and it's the BBC example as well. When he's suing the BBC, he's kind of said, "Oh, I will, I stand up for an independent."
Bye, Mr. E. Thank you for dropping by. Stay hydrated, not necessarily with Stella Artois. Self-care is good care. Take your meds if you have any to take. Stay based. Free Palestine and fuck Donald Trump. No, literally, obviously. Ugh. Bye, Mr. E. Thank you for dropping by. Say bye to Mr. E, everyone.
BBC, he needs to be a lot more vocal there, and a lot more vocal in times when Trump is kind of pressing the UK's buttons, if you want to use that analogy.
Okay. Lucy?
I think it's really important that Ukraine, whose citizens have been fighting this war for a long time, has a say in its future. And I think it's also really important that we don't send a signal to Putin that it's okay to win by force. And so any deal needs to recognise that Russia was an aggressor. On the counterbalance to that, Trump has brought some stability to the Middle East. And I think that bringing an end to the war would be overall a good thing. I would like to just, because the question sort of implies that what, and you asked, Liam, what can the UK do? I mean, I remember when I was in office, we did everything possible in every single department to stand by Ukraine. So I wasn't in a department that was, on the front line of dealing with the war in Ukraine. But when I was in the Treasury, I made sure that in our international relations in relation to tax, we disassociated ourselves from Russia. I did the same when I was responsible for sports in relation to the Olympics, and I was actually sanctioned by Russia as a result of all the actions that I took.
You go up in my estimation all the time.
So I do think, and I do think that Ukraine and the war has fallen off the radar of the British people, and I do think that's a shame because the consequences of the Russian invasion are so severe for the whole of Europe, including us, that it's really important that this is resolved well.
Jim?
I think actually the previous Conservative government in those first hours, days and weeks of the 24th of February 2022? 22nd of February, I thought the UK government did a brilliant job. They were one of the first to commit to standing by Ukraine. Boris Johnson, who I've got trenchant criticisms of and other things, went to Kyiv and stood with Zelensky, and they provided these Storm Shadow missiles quicker than anyone else was willing to provide that capability to the Ukrainians. So I thought they did very well, as Lucy has alluded to. Trump treats Ukraine like he does with any real estate deal. It's a piece of land to be traded. And Liam's point, which is a fair one, I don't agree with it, Liam, but it's a completely fair one, which is that we should shout more loudly when it comes to Trump. There is absolute, in my judgment, but it's we all have, one of the reasons why these conversations work is we all have different points of view, is that there's no evidence of that ever having worked. And if I thought it would work, that Starmer should stamp his feet with Trump and it would work, then I would be saying so this evening. But the truth is, I think that Keir Starmer, with a small number of others in the international arena, have managed to mitigate much of what Trump wants to do. And I think Keir Starmer could be a lot more popular if he grandstanded. And he's chosen not to, and I think probably on balance that's the right thing to do.
I think there are instances where people can stand up to Trump, though. I think, for example, in the US currently, the National Association of the Deaf is currently in a battle with the White House over American Sign Language interpretation of its briefings. And the White House, surprise, surprise, has said, oh, we're a little bit uncomfortable with the idea of Trump sharing a stage with anybody. Make of that what you will. But eventually the Trump White House has kind of backed down and has launched an ASL YouTube channel. I appreciate that's not necessarily on the same length as massive diplomatic relations on the issue of Ukraine, but it can show that certainly when we need to reinforce a message to Trump, there are avenues in which to do that he pays attention to.
Right, let's move on to Robbie in Chelmsford, who says, taking winter fuel off pensioners, cutting PIP from the disabled, and now punching down on desperate refugees. Is it any wonder Labour voters and even MPs want a change of leader? Jim, do you?
I'm not a Labour MP.
No, but you're a Labour supporter.
Yeah, I'm a Labour supporter. Look, I was in the Blair government. And so in relative terms, I had the sunshine days compared to what we have now. And we spoke about this earlier, didn't we, Charlie? The Blair-Brown government had a relatively benign inheritance from the Major government. The economy was growing and things were improving. And that Labour government was the beneficiary of that set of circumstances. This Labour government, the Starmer-Reeves Labour government, is in a completely different position because there's an inheritance which is, I have no idea how, and I can say this now, I'm not in politics, I have no idea how they balance the books and the competing demands. We've just had a conversation about why we need to spend more on defence. Where does that come from? And the only solution to this is growing the economy, removing the barriers to economic growth and ensuring that businesses generate wealth, employ people and increase the amount of taxes that are therefore paid. As for the individual decisions, I think they're all controversial. But I think it's all incumbent on us to say, okay, if I wouldn't cut that, what else would I cut? Or if I'm not going to cut, what tax would I increase? And if someone's got that worked out, I respect them.
So Starmer's safe, in your view?
Look, I think that we had 3 prime ministers. How many prime ministers? Again, it's not a kick.
I served under 5.
5? And in what period of time, Lucy?
Just over 9 years.
Right. So I served under 2.
So she was there from Cameron onwards. Delightful. Don't get me wrong, she's still a Tory. I don't issues with Tories, obviously. Everyone knows that. So you've been there since the austerity days. Delightful, Lucy. I hate that government with a burning passion for many, many reasons. Key in point, you try to end people like me. 330,000 excess deaths, anyone? Haha, you failed IDS, get wrecked, I'm still alive. It takes a lot to take me out, just saying. My body might be failing me, falling to bits. This is still sharp. I will advocate for my position. I am jealously partisan towards Madcap. And so...
in a period of 13. And it's just so much, we're a serious country.
It has happened before.
Yeah,
there were 3 prime ministers between 22 and 24.
There were.
1832 and 1834
Yeah, but
as well.
22, 24, there's all sorts of reasons why that happened in 22 and 24.
No, but I think it's quite interesting that you don't seem willing to sort of go there in the way that Rachel Maskell, a Labour MP who was on Andrew Marr earlier, did go there and said, well, he's got to shape up or ship out. Maybe he's not the leader for our times.
Things haven't gone well. You can see in the opinion polls have not gone well. But every government's on almost...
I'm pretty damn sure that Civil has got a better popularity rating than Keir Starmer at this point, Jim. Just saying. He is hated for reasons, and they're all fucking valid in my opinion, really. They've done this to themselves. It's what happens to the right. It's usually the Tories that collapse. Don't get me wrong, they have collapsed. They're fucking dead, essentially. Tory party, get wrecked. You're fucking dead now. Go away. I'm more worried about the rise of reform, really. And all those far-right fucking lunatics. Case in point, those 10 fucking councils were ran by reform. Kent, I feel for you. Your council is fucking dog shit. I've never been down to Kent, and I still feel for these people. I think that is their council. I'm sure that a good few of them didn't vote for reform to get into power in Kent. I'm sure of it. There are decent people everywhere, obviously. But dear God.
Almost every government, not all, but almost every government's unpopular midterm. I remember
not this unpopular.
That's true.
His own personal ratings are worse than any other prime minister in history at this stage of
it's been very difficult. I think the problem they have is I didn't hear Rachel's interview, but I think the major problem they have is they have not got a story about the country's future. They've got a set of decisions that they take, some of which I agree with and some of which I question, and there isn't an obvious joining of the various dots. So to lead and for people to follow, people need to know where they're going, and it's sometimes difficult to work out what the story of our nation's future is. And if anything I'd want to see corrective on is that.
Okay. Charlotte?
I think, as Jim said, each one of those things is controversial. I think that the winter fuel decision as the first thing out the gate of a new government was a remarkable. What would we say? It was a bold decision, Minister. I think is the way you would put it, to go out for that. I mean, what, weeks before you were going to do a fiscal statement anyway? So it was just so badly handled. But ultimately, there is a finite amount of money, and if we look at, for example, the welfare bill, and particularly the disability and sickness benefits section of that, it is growing at a rate which is unsustainable. And that has to force you to make choices. And I think the proposals put forward that failed.
Tax bastards. I agree, Reza. Blind self-interest seems to be controlling the day, doesn't it? Rather horrible, really. Oh, dear God. Self-interest. I'll get to you in a minute. Yeah. I know there's only a couple more things that they can do, and they will literally make us revolt. We will. Come after people like us. 14 years of austerity has literally decimated parts of the UK. Great swaths of us have been literally kicked in the teeth, essentially. We get treated like scum. We are denied our basic humanity, essentially. So they only need to do a couple more things. And then we say, no, fuck this noise. Then things happen. You can arrest all of us if we start protesting about some of your policies. Trust me, you can't arrest all of us. Literally, if all of us go out in the streets, you can't arrest all of us. There's not enough fucking jails or temporary jails, essentially, in police stations to house us all. Fucking do some things and you're just going to make us like, no, fuck this. You're denying our basic human rights. Get wrecked. We're going to deal with yous now. There's only a couple more tipping points, really. Just one or two, really, in my eyes. I think things are brewing. Things are getting thought, Chloe. Things are getting thought. people are doing mutual aid and helping their communities, and there's only so much we can take. Things are getting thought. Things are getting thought, by this individual at least. I'm sure there's lots of people who actually agree with me in what I'm thinking. Oh, yes. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. I haven't heard of her think tank before, but what she just said, a right-winger or centrist. She's sounding right-wing to me, really.
Because of the backbench rebellion,
Sorry, Charlotte.
Were again badly handled. They were ill thought through. There wasn't a narrative, as Jim is saying, more broadly about the government. But ultimately, if you're looking at adding another £20 billion onto the cost of those benefits by the end of this Parliament, so that
tax rich bastards. Raise capital gains, raise corporation tax, institute a wealth tax or a mansion tax. Do a wealth tax on the energy companies. There's many things that she could be doing. There is. Trust me on that. Yes, we have to be punished. Get wrecked. There's so much they could be doing. Hopefully Zach will spook them enough. Failing that, I hope the Greens get a hell of a lot more representation in Westminster, the Senate, and up here. So it's the Green Party of England and Wales and the Scottish Greens. Sort of same policy platform, mostly. We are for independence. Oh, Scottish Green Party member, by the way. Hello, eco-socialist as well. Or eco-Marxist. I'm fed up of getting treated like scum. I don't like it. It feels horrible. Give me back my human dignity, if you please. Yeah, just literally throw us into the mincer. Delightful. I won't fucking let you do that to me. Just saying. Previous governments, Tory and Labour, have tried to do that. Get wrecked, you've all fucking failed. I still exist. Ha. And I will be advocating for my position and many other people's positions, by the way. I cannot stand these ghouls.
that's within a few years, you have to look and say, is the choice we're making an ever-expanded welfare bill, or do we want to spend more on defence to protect this country? Do we want to spend more on early years intervention to help children?
What about Starmer's leadership? That's the question.
So I think Starmer's leadership has been woeful. You know, you can look at the polls, you can look at the constant resets that we've had over, almost on a weekly basis. I think at this point, when you keep blaming the people working for you, you might want to look at yourself, or certainly at least the decisions you're making as a leader. And I think it doesn't reflect well on a leader if you're constantly blaming other people around you. But, you know, there was no plan when they got elected. You know, everybody said that.
Liam?
Oh, I was just in the middle of taking notes. I think a lot of this comes down to, and I really appreciate that there's the note on there around PIP cuts and cuts to the disabled. It's absolutely nonsensical that we're in a position where we are cutting PIP, which needs to be stressed is not a employment benefit. It is something to help with the extra costs of disability and disability living. But then at the same time, they're cutting.
Liam is right. There is no work component into getting your PIP. I'm adult disability payment. Mine is essentially PIP up here in Scotland, so it is called adult disability payment. I'm on my full award now. I wasn't on the full award when I was receiving PIP because I'm scum. Do you want to know something? I don't think that will make them happy. It will give them a fleeting moment of joy. Yes, we're punishing them. No, how can we punish them further? And at that point, no, fuck off. I will start to rebel. And in some way or form, I am actually rebelling, being having this platform here, this lovely channel that I have created with help of brilliant people. If they start fucking doing that sort of bollocks, bringing back these Victorian era workhouses, no, get wrecked. I'm not fucking doing that for yous. You're not shoving us back into the metaphorical coal mine, essentially. No, get wrecked. I'm not going into the gig economy. I love being in the service sector. I worked in bars, by the way. I enjoyed it, being able to interact with people. Love it. I'm a very social person. I'm very chatty, as you can tell. You're not forcing me back into work like that. Get wrecked. I will fucking challenge you on that with my failing body. Just fuck off. I'd be a danger to myself and everyone around me. I will not stand for it. You're not creating these sort of conditions again. I will fight you, trust me on that one. I will fight. Even though it'll probably fucking bring me worse. I'm not going through it again. Be sure on that one. Not doing it.
Access to work, which helps them get into work, which would then coincide with the PIP. I will recommend people check out two great campaigns that are on this, the Access to Work Collective, and I have to be careful with this one, Taking the PIP.
Very good.
I think
Well saved, Liam. You saved me from Ofcom problems.
I have no problem with that. It's basically taking the piss. I can say that. That's actually quite funny. And people will automatically do that. It'll happen in our brains organically, really. That is quite clever. I like that. And they are literally trying to take the pip. I will not stand for it. I will not.
Yes, well, I'm more than aware of Ofcom regulations
tonight already.
But I do think there is an interesting point, I think, underpinning a lot of this around the real crisis in communication. I think back to what Dawn Butler said to Owen Jones in an interview a while back, which is that she expressed a frustration around how there are a lot of good things, in her view, that Labour are doing, but that's not cut.
Evidence, please. Evidence. I'd love the evidence of the good things. I really would. I need some hope in my life, really. Don't worry, I have hope. I've got this channel. I do my research. I educate everyone, hopefully. In my irreverent sort of way, really. I need evidence for that. I really do.
Through, and I think
that's what all governments say, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Make of that what you will. But I think,
damn it, you correct.
Talk about a change of leader. People want change, and I don't think Labour's been offering that as much as they go on about it.
Hugh wishes to correct Jim. He says Jim Murphy was an MP under 4 prime ministers. He's forgetting Cameron and May.
Oh, I was in government under 2. That's my
I can't remember how you phrased it.
Oh no, but I said 2 prime ministers in 13 years. So is it Hugh?
Yeah.
Hugh, I'm not in politics anymore, so I'm happy to say you're wrong.
He was in cabinet for 2 prime ministers. He was in parliament under 4. He was literally in 2 cabinets. Tony Blair's and Gordon Brown's. But he was still in opposition under Cameron and Theresa May. Then he stood down. He didn't get voted out. He stood down and said that he basically said, fuck this noise. I don't blame him, really. From what we got from Mary Black, Westminster is toxic. I quite believe it. I've believed that for many, many years now, really. Anyone who wants to stand as an MP, all the power to you if you're a decent human being and advocate for your constituents. I love that. Amazing. Do good work. Caledonian, Stephen Flynn, Pete Wishart from my hometown. Pete's amazing. I love Pete Wishart. Was Jim Murphy decent? I'm not sure. He is Scottish, don't get me wrong. Born and brought up here. Maybe decent. Kinda decent, maybe. Still a playwright. But not as bad as the cabal of fucking ghouls that are in Parliament now, or in Cabinet now. Seriously, that entire fucking Cabinet can get wrecked. I hate them all. Including Douglas Alexander. The current Scottish Secretary, he can fuck off. Douglas Alexander, you're garbage.
Yes, I was a minister under 2, but a member of Parliament under 4.
So I'm going to agree with Jim that he was wrong, but about a different point. So I think he was sort of implying that the reason that the Labour government are doing badly is because they inherited a poor economy. And I think that's a little bit disingenuous and untrue. The mistakes that the Labour Party, the Labour government have made have been of their own making. I'm not saying that the economy that they inherited.
Oh, God, I hate this. I have to agree with a Tory. I feel fucking dirty. Unfortunately, Lucy Fraser is correct. Don't get me wrong, the previous Tory administrations under 5, I say to you 5 Prime Ministers, utter garbage, total dog shit. They can all get wrecked. I hate them all. As the opposition, which Labour were, they knew all this shit anyway. They got read into it because if anything happened to the current government and they were in opposition, they would have basically become the government. So they knew all this shit already. I don't care what Rachel or Keir or fucking West Streeting or the Glaswegian Ghoul says or fucking Heidi Alexander. All of yous already knew this shit, so fuck off. You are sticking to basically the main tenets of their fiscal economy, their fiscal ideology. So no, get right. You're literally doing the same as what the Tories done. Just doing, oh, sad face, we have to do these things, unfortunately, because of the state of the finances. Fuck off. No, you don't. You don't need to be doing this. You really don't. Yeah, I hate them as well. I've just figured out, both Jim and Lucy were in Parliament at the same time. Fun. Ha!
Was as good as it could be, but it's certainly the missteps that they have taken have been self-imposed. You know, we started with the expenses scandal and you know, buying of glasses and suits.
The Tories done that as well. Lucy. The governments you were a part of were doing that as well. Don't be disingenuous here. You're all just as corrupt, essentially. You're all taking bungs. You're all getting presents, if you wish to call it that. They all have to be recorded on the members of interest. The interests, essentially, what they get, what bungs they get from people and organisations, blah, 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 blah. You were all up to it. The expenses scandal, fine, fair enough. Lots of yous got fucking canned for that, and lots of yous lost your fucking seats because you're scum. Literally feeding from the trough while basically not advocating for your constituents. So no, the lot of yous can get fucking wrecked. Seriously, just fuck off. Saying Labour's bad? Yous were bad as well. Look in the fucking mirror. I will say again, I am glad your party is dying. It's fucking deserved.
votes. We've had the statement about the island of strangers, in which Keir Starmer felt the need to U-turn his own language. And then we've had a series of economic measures.
Look like letterboxes? Your Prime Minister actually said that. Piccaninnies with watermelon smiles. Was said by the actual Prime Minister. Any recourse on that one, please? I beg of you? Fucking hell. These people are fucking ghouls. Ugh. Delightful, isn't it? Our politics is amazing, isn't it? The mother of all parliaments, everyone. I want to destroy it.
Where there's had to be a U-turn. Those are all of their own making. And we talked about how many prime ministers I've served under, and whether there is an issue of Keir Starmer and his leadership. And I think that the reports that I'm reading remind me of those times when I was in government, of when there felt to be a momentum towards change, and I feel.
Well, just on that, let's have a yes/no answer from each of you. Do you think that Keir Starmer will be Prime Minister, say, a month after the May elections next year? Yes or no? Jane?
Yes.
No.
I'm not going to do yes or no, because I think it's more. Well, I think it's more difficult than that.
Well, I'm saying yes because I actually believe it.
Okay, no,
I'm not saying it because it's unusual. I'm not saying it because it's.
Hey, Jim, you're clueless then. He won't be. There's only so much the puppet master can take, and if you absolutely get fucking wrecked at the locals and up here in Scotland and in Wales, if Labour basically get metaphorically kicked in the teeth, I don't see Keir Starmer surviving. I really don't. He's barely hanging on by the skin of his teeth at this point, really. We'll see what happens next week in the budget, but I can see Morgan McSweeney or the Labour Together project holding off until the May elections to see what happens. They are going to get fucking brutalised. They will be literally metaphorically kicked. And at that point, he's already untenable in my eyes, really, at this point. We'll see. I think they'll keep him in place until the May elections. Then when they get absolutely fucking wrecked, I think Keir Starmer's fucked. He will have to resign. Can't wait for that, really. That'll be fun. Our country's already in a fucking shitstorm of our own making, really, due to this Labour government, so fucking they can all get wrecked. And we'll see what happens to them in the next general election in 2029. Some of them are barely holding on as it is, and their majorities are fucking dog shit.
Unnewsworthy.
I think the only thing that's certain in politics is that it's uncertain, so everything can
So
change.
do I, Reza.
But I
So
think
do
the
I.
answer is more yes now than it would have been 6 months
You
ago.
mean that he will be?
Sorry, it's more answer is no now
Okay.
than
Liam?
it would have been 6 months ago.
Do I think he will be Prime Minister after the next May election? I would say yes, but it still won't look as good for him as it is now.
Charlotte?
I don't think so.
Well, tune in this time next year and we'll know. Right, we've got more questions coming to our panel in just a moment. 0345 6060 973 is the number. 8:33 is the time on.
I just want to check. Him, Reza, isn't it? I do accidentally. I just want to make sure. A lad can dream. A lad can dream. Aye, of course. Thank you. Basic, she, her. Hello. Femoid. Marxist and eco-socialist. And someone might take some. I am very basic. I know who I am, really. Me have boobage. Me have vagina. Me advocate for women. Me advocate for disabled people and refugees. I seriously want rid of them. I really do. Stephen Flynn for First Minister would be fucking awesome.
LBC, Daryl Jackson's here with the headlines.
Dale on LBC.
8:35. We've all just been discussing our favourite films of all time because I was tasked with doing my top 5 films for the Daily Express website, which you can have a look at if you really want to find out what they are, but you won't be impressed. Right, Lucy Fraser is here, former Conservative Cabinet Minister. Jim Murphy, former Labour Cabinet Minister. Charlotte Pickles from the think tank Restate. Now, just tell us where Restate stands in the sort of spectrum and what your main aim is.
So we are genuinely cross-party. So I have both Conservative and Labour, either current or former ministers on my advisory board. Our tagline is bold ideas to remake the state. So we like to think we're the sort of disruptor end of the think tank world. So we firmly believe you need radical reform to completely reimagine how the state functions. And we focus principally on kind of domestic policy.
I seem to remember Liz Truss used to work for you in your previous incarnation.
Did not work for me.
No.
But yes, she was many, many moons ago, I think deputy director at the time. So I guess we're one of the few organisations that, having had a prime minister, don't advertise it very widely.
How long did you have her for?
So I didn't work. It was a long time ago. But I think probably I don't know, a couple of years. I don't know, like not you know.
What have I started here? Liam O'Dell is here, journalist and disability rights campaigner. Right, a text question from Rico what a great name, in Doncaster. Is Albania's Prime Minister right to say that Shabana Mahmood's comments about wanting to send refugees from his country back home is populist far-right rhetoric? And when Nigel Farage is posting AI photos of her in Reform UK pyjamas, oh my goodness, is this making her more or less likely to become Prime Minister one day? Well, Albanian leader Edi Rama has made these accusations against the Home Secretary after she claimed that Albanian criminals, her words, had come across the channel and vowed to deport Albanian families if they refused to return home voluntarily. Lucy Fraser.
Well, I think both those things are potentially increasing her status within the country and therefore more likely to make.
Whoa, things are happening. I heard noise. Things happening. What happened? Benyo Ekis. Thank you for the follow. Welcome. If you are here, if you are lurking, I am MadCat79 Scotty, a Scottish disabled Marxist streamer. I talk about health and disability issues and politics and history. Welcome. Please be respectful and feel free to talk. Hello. Welcome. I am Scotland based. I live here in Glasgow. Hello. This is Cross Questions. That is Lucy Fraser, a former Tory Cabinet Minister. She is dog shit. Fun! Tories, they exist. I want them all to fuck off.
Make her Prime Minister at some point, but certainly increase. Welcome, fellow Scot. Hello. I am not originally from Glasgow. I live here. I was born and brought up in Perth. I love Dunfermline. Dunfermline is gorgeous. Hi. How do things go in Dunfermline? Did you see the match yesterday? Fucking amazing. Straight into the World Cup.
Hell yeah, bring it on. I don't know what countries we're going to get grouped with. But we'll find out technically today. Oh no, who the playoffs are. I don't know when they're going to be releasing what groups each of the countries are going to get put into. As a Glasgow Celtic supporter, I like Kieran Tierney's. Don't get me wrong, Scott McTominay's goal was fucking astounding. Well done, McTominay. Quite like Shankland's, basically tapping it in from 3 inches away from the goal line. Still a goal. Bring it on. 4-2. Hell yes. Love it. Welcome. Hello.
Increasing her popularity as immigration is obviously one of the biggest challenges that the government faces, and one of the things that people care most about. I mean, in relation to Albania, obviously, that's what I've just said is a domestic. How she might be viewed domestically. Obviously, it's important that we maintain a relationship, good relationships with foreign countries. But we did, when we were in power, we did do a returns agreement with Albania to stop the crossings over the channel. And we actually decreased Albanian crossings to this country by 90%.
Liam?
I agree. It will certainly raise.
Rejoice! I recognise you. Hello, BDS. It's BDE. Welcome back. Hello, hello. How goes it? Great to see you.
Her profile, I think that the thing I want to pick up on that question is around the posting of AI photos. It's something that I cover quite a lot at The Independent with Indy 100. I think back to in the run-up to the US mayoral election in New York, Zoran Mamdani was targeted by Andrew Cuomo with fake AI videos. And I just think we really need to wake up to the fact that that is a growing problem, and I really hope it doesn't become as more...
Is it really a problem? I mean, it's clearly not a serious thing to put her in reform pyjamas.
Yes, it is, Ian. Yes, it is. That is a far-right dog whistle, what was done. Don't get me wrong, I don't like Shabana Mahmood for reasons. They shouldn't have done that. Many people will agree with it, which is wrong. I will say again, I don't like her or any of her policies. She can get wrecked as far as I'm fucking concerned. But what do I know, really? Yeah.
Nobody seriously believes that she would have been wearing reform pyjamas, or even pyjamas at all, maybe.
Oh, you've gone too far. You've gone.
That's the line that's crossed right there.
So many off-components tonight.
Only you could get away with that.
But we talk about how not knowing what to believe anymore. And of course, yes, there is a degree of scepticism that needs to be applied with someone who is obviously a Labour government minister wearing pyjamas belonging to a rival political party. But there is a degree of decorum expected of MPs and political leaders. And
clutch those pearls a bit harder, Liam.
There's clearly, I mean, look, there's a very serious point about deep fakes that we're not taking seriously enough. But I think
this is not on that scale, is it?
I think this is absolutely just, a sort of bit of kind of fun, in the same way that it seems that no reform representative at the moment can't go on the radio or TV and say, is she defecting to reform or something along those lines. But I think in terms of the question that, 70-odd%, I think in most polling of the country think immigration is a problem and needs a serious response to it. And I think part of the challenge that the Labour, particularly Parliamentary Party, have at the moment is that they're actually not that aligned with the views of the public. So that will make Shabana Mahmood popular. But also, are we seriously saying we shouldn't deport organised criminals? I mean...
No, but I think she fell into a trap there, didn't she, of tarring all Albanian asylum seekers as criminals.
So I think it's obviously she's said it today. I've read very limited amounts about it, but I did read that there was a point around, I think she said there's about 700 families who should have been deported who are refusing to leave and are still being funded by taxpayers. And I think that's a very legitimate thing to say that that's not on. And actually British taxpayers, we've already talked about the pressure on the public finances, the fact that we can't fund a lot of things that we need to fund.
We could be taxing rich bastards. Rachel, can you hear me? Raise capital gains. It's the easiest one to do, actually. You shouldn't have balked. You should have just quivered with raising the income tax, especially for the higher bands. You could have reshifted the bands. You could have raised them a bit and taken hundreds of thousands or millions of working British citizens out of paying vast amounts of tax or tax at all. You can do what we've done. We raised our income rate tax. We shifted the bands up here, by the way, and made the higher earners pay 1 penny more. It is 45 pence in the UK government. It is 46 pence here in Scotland. And they all had a collective fucking meltdown over it. Get right. Your tax band still exists. You don't come into it until you earn blah amount. I can't remember what the band cut-off is. Sorry. The higher wage earners pay a little bit more in income tax up here by 1 pence. The tax band still exists. Once you go over that tax band, you'll be paying it. But lots of people got shifted out of paying the higher rates of tax, making it easier for working families. Good thing, in my opinion. Good thing. And they all had this collective wobble about it. Basically bitching about it. They're making us pay more tax. Fucking get wrecked. It's only 1 pence. Shut up. She could actually do that on a national level. Will she? Not now. I thought she was going to be. No. She got scared about the messaging coming from the markets. Just raise capital gains or corporation tax then, Rachel. Seriously, just fucking do that. Those two are fucking easy. We will wait and find out if she will do those. I'm not holding my breath, by the way.
You know, go and talk to families that are struggling to make ends meet. And actually, no, it's not okay that there are 700 families from Albania that should have gone home and haven't done so.
Jim?
I know Eddie Rama really well. He's probably Europe's tallest minister or prime minister. I'd say two things about it. Firstly, Albania, I know there's a caricature about Albania, but it's a really important country for the UK. It's a country where Russia is desperate to extend its influence. Eddie Rama, as a political leader, has stood up to a lot of those pro-Russian forces in his country, and he loves the United Kingdom. I promise you, he listens to many, I was going to mention a rival. There are rival channels.
I'm not sensitive about these things.
Well, I know him. He regularly listens to the BBC Today programme of a weekend, of a week. He loves the United Kingdom, and we're really fortunate that we have such a close ally in the Premiership of Albania.
Well, when you next see him, you might want to recommend Nick Ferrari at breakfast. Much more entertaining.
I'll do that. I'll try and see if we can get
why
on.
not this show? I think you should recommend this show.
I'm too bashful, Lucy, as you know.
Well, I will say it on your behalf. I think you should do that.
I will actually. Do you know what?
If you can tell him, I'll give him an hour. If he wants to come on this programme, next time he's in London, we'll give him an hour and he can tell us exactly how brilliant his country is, because he is a real character, isn't he?
I'll WhatsApp him this evening. He's a former professional basketball player. When you go into his office, he's also an aspiring artist. He's less bashful than you. He's got his own paintings in his office. So, but the second point I was going to make...
I haven't.
You've got your own portrait in your office, not your own painting. But the second point I was going to make is that I think we're just all going to have to get used to this. in terms of Shabana's language, because there's no diplomatic way to have a course correction on our migration policy. So earlier this week she said we're open to ending visas for people who come from the Democratic Republic of Congo, Angola and Namibia. Now that's really, used Liam's phrase, that's really pipped those countries off. And there is just no diplomatic way to do these things.
If you were Shabana Mahmood and said that, she would have said the real word, because she's got a bit of a potty mouth, hasn't she?
Yeah, well, I'm only being guided by Liam, and you're off.
As we all should.
But I think if we're going to have a corrective on our migration policy,
I would just say this for Jim. He does actually try to police his language, really. I don't give a fuck. I will call a cunt if he's a cunt, if someone's a cunt, or a bastard, or an absolute fucking ghoul or demon. I have no problem with that, because quite a lot of them are ghouls, demons, and assorted scumfuckery. Go away. Fuck off. Annoying me. I have no problem calling them out. At the end of the day, I have very little power. I can speak to all you lovely people, which is good. I love that. Being able to educate everyone about the UK politics is a good thing in my opinion. Just showing how dog shit it is, really. I advocate for better. Well, I see it. Maybe. Thank you, BDS. Unfortunately, I can't follow BDS because this platform is literally, I get this platform by people who are actually funding the settler colonial entity. Not good. I don't like it. I will still advocate for my position though, using their platform, their software. The fact that I can actually talk to people. Thank you, BDS. Much appreciated.
Policy. We are going to pip off some of our close allies, of which one is Eddie Rama. But the great thing about Albania's political leadership is while they're really annoyed, they will remain committed to a very close relationship with the UK.
Good.
Do you think it's sensible of Reform to have posted that, or do you think is it good?
Well, to be fair, I haven't seen it.
Well, I haven't either, but just is it sensible for them to be putting another?
Is anything Reform do sensible? No, not really. Answers in chats, please, comrades. Is anything Reform are doing sensible? No. No. Manfrog has every right to exist as a human being. He can do what he wants. I don't want him in Westminster. I don't want him to be the leader of a political movement, which is basically somewhat fascist in some respects. I want to say to Manfrog, fuck off, you are scum. Nigel, please come up to please come up to Glasgow or Scotland. I want to talk to you. I will advocate again, no violence, please. I just want to talk to him. Seriously, I really do want to talk to Nigel Farage. I don't know why. It's not like I'm going to fucking change his positions or anything. I just really want to talk to him. I don't know how that would turn out, actually. answers on your answers on a postcard, if you please.
Political figure through their channels, suggesting that she is aligning with their policies.
Well, I think from their point of view, I'm trying to think if I was them, well, how would I respond to that? I think they would say, well, it's a good thing if other political parties are adopting our policies, just as Kemi Badenoch is saying, look, if you want to abolish stamp duty, Rachel Reeves, in the budget, go ahead, make our day.
But equally, if they can get mainstream political parties to adopt the policies that the people care about, then maybe people will vote for the mainstream political parties.
Well, maybe, but I suspect Nigel Farage would say, well, okay, if they make
Lucy, the great swath of of people here in the UK do not like those policies. I don't like those policies. I want to see short of those policies. They're absolutely fucking garbage and xenophobic and racist and all other means of racism, really. I don't like them. I don't want them in our politics. Really, I don't. How loud do I need to get? There's a wee flying beastie flying around, annoying me if you see me doing this, by the way. I don't like these policies. I want short of them, really. They're dog shit. Being xenophobic is truly cringe. I want rid of it. I tried to hold to being not racist. I think more on the journal, I am not racist in any way, shape or form. I hope that comes across, I really do.
us as a party redundant, I will have achieved my goals.
Isn't also, though, the calculation that actually it riles up the quote space so much that there is such a fallout that actually it's not Starmer and Shabana going into the next election. It's a much more soft to harder left party going in.
Corey and Chris have delightfully posted the picture of Shabana in her Reform pyjamas with a poster of Nigel behind her on her bedroom wall and a Reform Party flag as well. And she's sitting cross-legged in her Reform pyjamas. I think looking at her phone. Is that right?
That's a very good image description.
Yeah, that's very good. And they've got the Reform football.
And they've got an England flag. Yeah. And
and I think that's the signed Nigel Farage T-shirt as well.
You see,
that's correct.
I can't. I mean, look, a lot of. I mean, we would have said in the past that was photoshopped. We wouldn't have said AI, and it's just a sort of modern version of Photoshop, isn't it? I can't get very excited.
Well, AI is corrosive of democracy.
That's another point I was trying to make.
But that's not.
No,
that's parody, and that's, in my opinion, that's fine. But what I think it probably does, although I'm not a great advisor on what's happening inside the minds of Reform people, I think she's probably got under the skin a little bit. Because the smart thing would have been to say something completely different. And I don't think.
But then you could also say that Nigel Farage has got under her skin when she, was it in the House of Commons or a Sky News interview, she basically said, "Well, I don't care what he thinks; he can sod off."
Oh, I think it's
not the sort of thing you would expect of a Home Secretary to say.
You said she has a potty mouth.
I think she does.
That's completely on brand. So good luck to her.
Well,
I think we're just going to
worse than that as well.
Shabana's a new character for many people in British public life. People are starting to get to know who she is. She's a minister with genuine momentum, and she knows what she believes. And in politics, knowing what you believe, I mean, in the previous government...
Jim, it depends on what you believe in and what you advocate for. I will say again, I don't like what she's advocating for. I have major problems with Shabana Mahmood. I really do.
The minister who most got criticised would have been Michael Gove. But I think it's reasonable to say Michael knew what he believed and therefore he attracted criticism.
I think,
and they were wrong. Jim, what the fuck, man?
Knows what she believes, and she's a person of conviction, and that is her biggest superpower. Because when she speaks, she has authenticity because she believes in what she says. And I think
I'll give her that, yes. But what she believes is crap. I don't want to see that implemented in Britain. I really don't. How do we combat these bastards? I really want to know. I'm trying my best to try and educate everyone here. I really am.
biggest thing about Kemi is that she's...
How have we got onto Kemi?
Well, because like Shabana, you're saying about Shabana, she has her own personality and she's not swayed off course.
She said she never has gaffes, and she's had gaffes.
Did she say that?
She did. She said she's not someone that has gaffes, and gosh, she's had a good couple.
She has had a few. Well, she'll be on this programme this time, well, not quite this time next week. She's coming on Budget Night at 7 o'clock to do an hour-long phone-in, so do tune in for that. It's 8:48.
Weekdays from 7 a.m.
Why is there delay?
Straight to the point.
This government is unravelling every
Question with Ian Dale. Watch live on both Global Player and the new LBC app.
10 to 9 on LBC. Lucy Fraser, Jim Murphy, Charlotte Pickles and Liam O'Dell are here answering your questions. Here's a text question from Sarah in Abingdon. Scientists have warned that the food we eat now is slowly killing us all. That's cheerful. And putting higher taxes on them is one of the ways to make us all eat more healthily. Are sin taxes really the answer to our terrible diets? Well, the background to this is as follows. A major new study into ultra-processed foods has concluded that they are damaging all of our internal organs and putting us at risk of a number of chronic illnesses, including obesity and depression. And the scientists behind the study say governments need to put higher taxes on ultra-processed foods along with clearer warnings on the labelling of those products, with the taxes used to fund better access to healthier foods. Bang goes.
Hello. Hi. Hello. Scientist here. Hi. The reason these foods have been made more prevalent over the last, basically my lifetime, essentially. Hello, 46-year-old woman here. Fresher foods, fresh fruit and veg, better meat, better dairy products. They've been outpriced for the vast populace, really, at this point here in the West, especially here in the UK. I need the dairy, I need the protein. I can't go vegan for health reasons. Although I should be stopping drinking, but I still drink. Fuck it. I use it as a painkiller. I'm rather naughty, but fuck it. They could be making it easier for us to actually buy healthier food. They really could be. They could raise the national minimum wage. It is currently $12.21. I'd want it raised to 15, which is basically basic. I'd want it to go up to £20 an hour, so we could actually afford decent, healthier foods. Advocating for better diets, whether it be keto, paleo, vegan, and vegetarian, pescatarian, or just like a carnivore like myself who needs the protein. Rejoice, comrades! Natok is here. Hi, Natok. Have I asked you this yet? If you're okay with it, can I get your pronouns so I don't misgender you, my comrade? And if you want, what is your diet like? What things do you ingest? My jaw's kind of fucked, so where's the joint of your jaw is up here round about your ears, kind of here. Hang on. There's the joint there. My joint is misaligned. The actual mechanisms of the joint itself misaligned. So chewing is fun. Let's just put it that way. Hi Natok, great to see you. Great American comrade. Is Donald Trump still a bobber? I suspect yes.
My M&S lasagna tonight when I get home. Lucy, this is. I mean, your government had to wrestle with this about sort of there's a sugar tax, and now people are talking about putting taxes on these sorts of things.
Yeah, I don't think that the taxation is the answer. I do think it's a major issue that what we eat really affects our health. And I think education is the way forward to ensure that we know what we're eating, what's good and what's bad. Many people don't even know that it's bad to eat certain foods. So I think that is the way forward to change people's diet.
I know certain things are bad to eat. Don't get me wrong, I know this. I use my scientific and analytical mind on what I ingest, really. I know exactly mostly how they're made. Don't get me wrong, it's because of poverty and the how much money comes into this household about what we can afford, what we bring into our house to actually eat. What the? What the?
And I do actually think that I think the younger generation are much more aware of healthy foods than I think my generation were.
Jim?
So my personal view is I don't think taxation is the right way of doing it. I think transparency is, and I'm pretty comfortable with labelling that allows people to make choices. I think it's really difficult to say to those people who eat most processed food, ultra-processed food, and I know it's a caricature, but many of the poorest people in this country don't have time to cook the type of meals that a lot of others would take for granted. So I think adding cost to working class, highly kind of financially stressed families is difficult. So I'd rather they had transparency and we could all make decisions. I can see everything on the food, on the alcohol, and on everything we consume. But then I'm probably the world's least healthy vegan.
Well, you're certainly, how can I put this, not exactly obese. Another reason why people should be watching us, not just listening to us. Liam.
I'll take your word for it.
I would.
What the hell? 3-stream streak. Thank you, Natok. That gets pinned.
I appreciate what Jim said about how with some people can't prepare foods, and therefore obviously there is a degree to which ultra-processed foods help with that. I do agree as well with Lucy that education is and kind of the more information and transparency that we have will help people to make more informed choices. And also I really regret not yet getting round to the book Ultra Processed People, because I hear that people have said that that's a really interesting book to read on the subject. I also know that obviously we've had that recent ban on refillable drinks at certain restaurants.
Really?
Yes. So, for example,
Nando's will go out of business.
Well, I was going to mention brand names, but I wasn't too sure what the rules are on that.
We don't have any.
Nando's are planning to phase that out, although I have been a few times in recent weeks and they're still using it. So
a few times in recent weeks.
I go to theatre often, Ian. I have to have a quick wish. Okay. I have to have a quick dinner.
Charlotte.
Do you know what's interesting about that? So I'm going to drop a name. There's a place called The Chicken Shop, which is fried chicken, which I love. And there's one in Hammersmith. And actually, they have to stop free refills of the full fat Coke or whatever, but not the diet ones, which is actually...
Correct, I talk. Correct. I don't know what it's like over in your neck of the woods, but here in the UK it is... Don't get me wrong, I like Chicken Shop. Chicken Shop is good. I run just up the road. Brilliant peri-peri chicken. You can say what level of spiciness, what level of heat you want. I usually dance between either kind of low to mid, and sometimes when I go absolutely fucking crazy, Fuck it. Give me spicy. I want spicy. It's mostly mid-level, so sort of warming with a slight kick to my chicken. I love it. Super Happy still doesn't understand why I like fried chicken. He likes fried chicken, but he doesn't eat it that much. I do. And I'm also obsessed with pizza for reasons. Pizza is good. I love pizza. Pepperoni, if you please. That or spicy chicken.
Just as bad for your ultra processed, which just shows that these decisions.
Does that come from government, or was that from
I think so. I just noticed it last time I went in, not as frequently as you were going to Nando's, but occasionally. But in all seriousness, look, I think the problem with saying we need to educate people better is that we've said that for goodness knows how long, and we don't do it, and it's not very effective. And I think the problem with saying we need greater transparency is that actually the harassed mum who's working 2 jobs and is stressed and just needs something to put into the oven quickly for a kid to go out to do a night shift is not going to sit there poring over the information on a package. So we are in a position now where, as nice as it would be to not have government have to intervene in a way, if we're serious about cutting down on the huge cost in many different senses of obesity and diet, then we probably are going to have to be a bit more interventionist. And I don't know that tax is the answer for the very reason that Jim said about the people that hits hardest, which are those that tend to be struggling to make ends meet.
Raise the minimum wage so we can afford better food. Just saying. That might work. Who knows? I know, obviously. Don't get me wrong, my diet is still kind of garbage in certain respects. I try to eat as healthily as I can. I do try my best, really. I love fish. I love fresh meat. Don't... Oh, fucking hell. That's fine. Fucking hell. I do try to the required level of protein because my muscles are wearing away. I need the protein, really. I do eat fish. I do love my grains. I love Scotch broth with a fuck ton of barley in it. And red lentils and peas. It is delicious. Good hearty food here from Scotland. And lots of neat pork, turnip or sweet if you want. Oh. Yes, I'll deal with you after stream, dear God.
But we could be banning certain ingredients. We could be looking at actually the way that food is made and the combinations of ingredients we're putting in it. Because I think it's the cop out really, just to say we need to teach people to cook food better and we need to educate them and we need to make it more transparent, because I just don't think that
Richard has just sent me a graphic from Wetherspoons which says customer notice, hot chocolate. Through recent government legislation, changes hot chocolate and mocha are now excluded from the free refill offer.
It's sugar levels.
Thank you for your understanding.
Yeah, sugar content.
Not sure I'd be I don't like hot chocolate anyway. But anyway, right, let's go to Martin in Doncaster. Martin, good evening.
Hi, Ian. Yeah, I think Jim will like my question. As an England fan, are the panel happy like me to see Scotland playing at next year's Football World Cup?
Well, anybody that says no will never be invited back, Charlotte.
Nice
I want to be invited back, so do I have to
Well, you're really not happy about Scotland qualifying?
No, I'm delighted because I don't think they'll go much further.
Charlotte, I hope we prove you wrong. Just saying, Scott McTominay still exists, and so does Kieran Tierney, and so does Garen Doak, and just saying. We will find out what group we get put in, by the way, and I will assess. By the way, football fan here, by the way. Hi, hello. I enjoy football. Football is awesome. We will find out. Ugh. You're nearly at parity with what's a gallon? So that's just 8 pints. We sell our milk in like pints, 2 pints, 4 pints, and 6 pints, and 8 pints, which is a gallon essentially. You only get them in larger sort of warehouse type place. I'm assuming you know Costco, but most supermarkets, the largest amount is 6 pints of milk. But our classifications of milk are slightly different from you. I quite like our classifications. We need the fat and dairy essentially. I drink whole cream, by the way, so full fat, whatever that the equivalent is in the States. I think we pay slightly more than what you do. Don't get me wrong, I love dairy. I don't mind paying I don't mind paying the price for it. I want all the money to go back into the dairy farmers essentially. Because looking after a dairy herd is difficult. I've been on the dairy farm. It is rather hard work, to say the least.
Jim, I think I need to give you the right of reply.
What a night.
To be fair, I have listened to Jim all day long talking about the joy of Scotland. So.
What a night. I mean, it was, not everyone will have watched it, but three of Scotland's 4 most famous goals were scored in one game.
Yeah.
Archie Gemmill scored in 1978 against the Netherlands at the World Cup in Argentina. But otherwise, the goal scored last night by 3 substitutes. So it is such... I know people... I was in a pub in London watching it, and there was only 2 of us actually paying any attention to it. So we were pretty noisy with myself and my son. But it's such a special occasion for Scotland to be in a World Cup.
Absolutely right.
And it would be remarkable if all the nations of the United Kingdom were able to go to a World
Plus the
Cup
Republic of Ireland.
for the first time.
I got into trouble last night for including the Republic of Ireland
In the home nations. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
as an Irish citizen, I would have chastised you for it as
would
well.
You?
But
I always want the Republic of Ireland to win.
You spoke about history in 1922. I mean, there was an Act of Union in 1801 or 1800.
If the vote had been on the other foot and England had been up to qualify, obviously we hadn't conceded a goal in the whole qualifying tournament.
Are you not a UK broadcaster? Why are you saying we?
Because I'm English.
Okay, very good.
And a quarter Scottish actually as well. Okay. But would you be cheering for England as much?
I don't care if you're quarter Scottish, Ian. I really don't. You do not advocate for what we stand for up here, really. You don't. No. You have your platform. I have mine. We are separate, but according to you, somewhat quarter equal, really? I don't like you. Go away.
Happy with. Do you know what? I'm happy with all the countries the United Kingdom get into these tournaments.
Yeah,
the only thing that frustrates me.
The only thing that frustrates me is.
The only thing that frustrates me is that I hear a rumour that England won the World Cup in 1966.
No, West Ham did.
Yeah, the Academy of Football won it, of course. But I hear a rumour England also won it. And the thing I love about English folk is they never go on about it.
No, that's absolutely
it's remarkable.
Right. Lucy.
But I don't know if it's a true rumour that England won the World Cup.
No, you used to be sports minister. You could have been going to.
I know. Very sad. Yes, of course. And I'm not just saying that because I'd like to be invited back.
Yes, of course. They never mention 1966. Of course, they don't ever at all. Honestly, they don't. Trust me, I've never heard anything about 1966 ever. You played all your games in Wembley. You never went to any of the other great stadiums in the country in 1966. Never. You only played at Wembley. You always had home advantage, so you get wrecked. And a Russian referee. Naughty Kitty, I'm not meant to bring that up, apparently.
I'm just I am thrilled. I'm not following closely sport. I'm not really a big sports fan. However, what I will say is that it's any representation in sport is fantastic, including, can I shout out the UK Deaf Olympics team are currently in Japan doing great work over there.
Right, our fun question, which I'm not sure this is going to work, given that I did tell you what it was in the break. And anyway, Ed in New Cross says, Mick Jagger turned up at his old school in Kent today and spoke with some of the pupils there. Who's the most famous person who turned up to your school? With some trepidation, I'm going to Charlotte first.
Trepidation because you know that I can't think of anyone who was famous. And so I was actually trying to think if there was anyone famous who just came from my town. I come from a little town called New Milton on the south coast, which I actually can't think of anyone even famous who's from...
Well, I've never heard of it. So
exactly, right? Yeah, so no, I can't think of anyone famous.
Liam, can you do better?
Not persons, but people the Wanted went to school. I didn't see them because I was on the race.
Are they a popular music beat combo, Your Honour?
Yes, yeah, they had a hit with All Time Low a few years back, but yeah, I wasn't there. I was on
they count as famous. Jim?
I can't think of anyone. I'm sorry. I went to a normal working class school in a Glasgow housing scheme. You
just told me you went to school in Cape Town.
And then we emigrated.
Oh, right.
And I went to
you
school.
got expelled.
I went to school in Cape Town. Well, I left Cape Town because I was conscripted into the South African Army under apartheid.
What?
Yeah. Can you tell by the accent? I can talk like that too if you want.
I love South African accents.
Well,
I'm one of the few that does.
I'm okay with them now, but when I lived in South Africa, it was just kind of associated with apartheid and racism.
Yeah.
But, so no, I can't think of anyone famous who ever thought of visiting any of the schools that I ever went to.
Lucy.
So I went to school in Leeds, and I can't think of anybody who are famous who came to my school. And I'm racking my brains, and I can't.
Alex Salmon visited my school. Gordon Brown visited my school. Holy fuck, I'm good. John Swinney went to school in Perth. Does that count? So the current First Minister actually visited my secondary school. Does that count? Ewan McGregor? Does he count? Sorry, Perth seems to have a concentration of based Scottish people, I guess. I went to my school. I'm famous. Fuck it. I'll promote myself. I went to a school in Perth. I was there. Annabelle Ewing. Praise be Annabelle Ewing. She visited the school before I went to the school. She went to the school when I was still alive, obviously, but she went to the school before I went to Perth Academy. Annabelle Ewing is good, so is Winnie Ewing. Natal, can you do that? Can you name any famous American ball bags?
I don't actually remember anyone who came to our school.
You went.
No, I mean who came to visit and speak. I can't think of any speakers who came into the school. I mean, I'm sure they must have done.
We had Shirley Williams when she was in the Labour cabinet.
Oh,
so I think that counts.
Good. That's
you must have went to a posh school.
Yeah. No, I went to Saffron Walden County High School.
So why did she come to your school? Apart from the fact that you were there.
Presumably someone invited her. She didn't just turn. I think she was actually the first politician I ever met. In fact, when I interviewed her a few years before she died, I did say to her, you do realise, Shirley, you turned me into a rampant Thatcherite. She found very, very funny.
So she inspired you in some way?
She did indeed.
Oh, brilliant.
Now, thank you all very much indeed for coming on the panel tonight. Monday's panel includes the human rights barrister, Dr. Charlotte Proudman, the columnist Angela Epstein, and the Lib Dem MP, Tom Morrison. So they'll be here to entertain you and answer your questions on Monday. Now, in the next hour, it's International Men's Day today. So we are going to turn our attention to men's mental health. Wes Streeting, the Health Secretary, has made a big announcement on that today. So we'll be talking about that. And I want to ask you this. Why do men in general, and I say in general, find it more difficult to talk about their innermost feelings than maybe women do? I think I'm a bit of an exception to this because my partner always says, can you keep nothing private when I'm talking about my own mental health or feelings on the radio? So I really do want to hear from a lot of men in this hour, but if you're a woman, how do you cope with your own partner's mental health problems?
On your radio, on the LBC app, and
Play LBC.
leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC.
From Global's newsroom, despite a damning report into the UK's ability to defend itself, the Defence Secretary has warned Moscow the UK's ready to respond to threats. John Healey's revealed a Russian spy ship is operating on the edge of British waters and is believed to be gathering information.
We deployed a Royal Navy frigate and RAF planes to
We are reading out. We are going to say hello. Where is she? There should be there. Let's go and say hi to Cranky Pants. Bye, Reza.
So while I understand your outrage, there is a point to these kinds of protests. They're just not what people like you and me and CJ want. No, and that's the thing. Is a lot of protesters don't know how to control the manufactured consent. Like, the recent, like, when ICE really started and we started watching the welcome in Mad Cat. Give me one moment, let me finish my
Welcome in Raiders.
A lot of these people don't know how to control I saw people going out to the bigger riots that were lasting like 24 hours and stuff like that. They're out there at night when the cops are ready to crack heads because we're on second shift now. People are out there in like sandals and shorts and no protective gear, and they're just out there just yelling and holding their signs. They're not prepared. And that's the thing is, like, we need some Occupy and BLM protesters, like some senior protesters who have been through this, need to, like, fucking get out there and start educating these people. And we need to start making sure that those people who are doing this, like going out there in their flip-flops and they're the wine moms and stuff like that, but they need to be educated on how to really protest without it turning into allowing the police to crack their heads. But also, like, CJ's kid went out there. CJ's kid went out and was at a protest, and I applaud them for that. You know, they're our next generation, and they're doing this of their own accord. They're like, no, yes, shit, they shoot naked men running down an empty highway in the back. You just have hands and they'll think it's weapons. I mean, what the fuck, the cop with the fucking egg corn. Welcome in, Mad Cat. How are you doing? We are, we got into some politics.
Hi.
While I'm so Socknow, CJ, and I were talking about, so Socknow lives in Puerto Rico, and, you know, seeing people go out in the protests with, like, the blow-up suits and stuff, like, it's upsetting because it's not enough, but we were having the discussion on why protests like that are important even though they're not enough. The difference between the No Kings and anti-ICE. They hold them once a month on a Saturday and do fuck all for another month. Protests need to continue every single night until change, yes. And that's what, like, the anti-ICE protest should absolutely. But the No Kings should be like that too. We need some people who have been through BLM, who have been through Occupy. We need those senior protesters who learned the tricks and tips and things like that, and we need them out there on the ground teaching people. You know, if Susan the wine mom can be converted to full gear, let's go. Susan, I will buy your bottle of wine and meet you on the corner. Let's go. They need to know better. Some of the rest of them, I understand, could be ignorant, but the majority of seasoned protest activists that are in those groups should already know by now. And some of them, like, dude, you know they have military equipment on the fuck. Yeah. And it's, we need those senior people out there. Like, poor James from the internet. Like, he's been busted so many times by the cops, like, physically beat up. He has, like, steel in his neck. He can't physically go out there anymore. He can't physically go out there and cover, because the next time he gets suplexed by a cop, he's dead because he's paralyzed, you know? But he shares the education that he learned, and, like, when the big anti-ICE protests, like, first started, when everything, like, popped off and everybody was covering it, and Woke was on Twitch with, like, you know, 15 different channels of live streams and stuff like that, he stayed on for, like, fucking 12 hours just sitting with us, watching it, explaining things, like how when he used to go to protests, he would get there early with his press pass, and he would do a perimeter walk to find out where the cops were storing their gear for shift change, so that way he knew when it got dark and shift change happened and the cops are going to start their shit, which way they were going to come from, so he was prepared. So things like that, like, you know, that's what others need to know. What kind of gear? What can you legally get away with? How can you protect